Wow, was für eine Location, also gigantisch. Wir haben uns hier vorhin schon ein bisschen eingegroovt. Es ist wirklich im wahrsten Sinne des Wortes fantastisch. Und ich sehe noch ein paar vereinzelte Sitzplätze. Ich sehe auch, dass hinten noch viele stehen. Sie können mal gucken, da vorne, hier ist noch ein bisschen Platz dazwischen. Also für die, die hinten stehen, gerne noch einen Sitzplatz finden. Und sonst ist Stehen ja auch mal ganz nett. So, und bevor wir jetzt loslegen und starten, habe ich ein Zitat gefunden, was ich finde ganz schön zum Anlass passt. Und das ist von Henry Ford. Der hat gesagt, Zusammenkommen ist ein Beginn, Zusammenbleiben ein Fortschritt und Zusammenarbeiten ein Erfolg. Und weil Sie alle erfolgreich arbeiten, deswegen sind Sie hier. Wir feiern die 101 Besten und damit herzlich willkommen zum 101 Best Executive Summit powered by Global Office. Schön, dass Sie alle da sind. Herzlich willkommen. Ich bin Margit Liewertz. Ich freue mich sehr, dass ich heute hier durchs Programm führen darf und auch heute Abend dann mit meinem Kollegen Oliver Sequenz. Und ich habe noch ein anderes Zitat übrigens, das kennen Sie vielleicht auch. Wann haben Sie zuletzt mal was zum ersten Mal gemacht? When did you last time do something for the first time? Also ich moderiere heute das erste Mal in Turnschuhen zum Kleid. Ich weiß nicht, wie es Ihnen so geht, es fühlt sich aber ganz gut an, also man kann sich dran gewöhnen. Und wir haben natürlich heute auch was ganz Besonderes, denn wir zeichnen heute die erfolgreichsten Hotel Companies aus. Und das ist eben auch ein Novum, denn bisher wurden die erfolgreichsten Hotels ausgezeichnet, deutschlandweit, und deswegen auch hier immer wieder eine Veränderung, immer wieder eine Erweiterung, aber dazu kommen wir natürlich gleich im Detail. Die meisten guten Erfolgsgeschichten beginnen mit einer Idee. Oder wie Walt Disney gesagt hat, if you can dream it, you can do it. Und diese Idee ist natürlich inzwischen keine Idee mehr, sondern eine Erfolgsgeschichte, denn seit 5 Jahren inzwischen gibt es die 101 Besten und die Idee kam natürlich durch die vielen Reisen, denn David und Carsten haben zusammengesessen und immer wieder überlegt, was können wir tun, was gibt es für Möglichkeiten, um Hotels auszuzeichnen und wirklich auch eine Übersicht zu haben und es fair zu gestalten. Also was gibt es für Möglichkeiten, das kennen Sie alles. Und ich freue mich natürlich sehr, dass er jetzt hier auch gleich die Begrüßung sprechen wird. Deswegen bitte mit einem großen Applaus. Hier ist David Rath.
Liebe Gäste, ich begrüße Sie ganz herzlich zum 101 Executive Summit. Als wir vor 5 Jahren das Unternehmen die 101 Besten gründeten, hatten wir 3 Zielgruppen ganz genau im Blick. Sie, liebe Hoteliers, vernetzen wir mit luxusaffinen und Lifestyle-liebenden Gästen, damit sie genau die richtige Zielgruppe erreichen und zusätzlichen Umsatz generieren. Sie, liebe Sponsoren, vernetzen wir mit den besten Hoteliers, damit die besten Hoteliers die besten Produkte und Dienstleistungen erhalten. Und unseren Gästen bieten wir Fakten, aber vor allen Dingen Objektivität, um in der Landschaft der Luxushotellerie Transparenz zu schaffen. Heute ziehen wir nach 5 Jahren ein Resümee. Ich bin stolz auf die Partnerschaft mit Ihnen allen. Danke. Unsere Veranstaltung ist ein Miteinander, damit wir gemeinsam noch stärker werden, wenngleich wir natürlich auch einen gesunden Wettbewerb fördern. Die 101 Besten stehen für Innovation, um in der Luxushotellerie Maßstäbe zu setzen, denen andere dann folgen können. Heute Abend werden deshalb die herausragenden deutschen Hoteliers und ihre Leistungen ausgezeichnet. Auf dieser Bühne erleben wir gleich besondere Persönlichkeiten, die die internationale Hotellerie maßgeblich mitgestalten. Sie sind Entrepreneure, Visionäre und Vorreiter, die uns Wege aufzeigen werden, wie die Zukunft im Spannungsfeld zwischen Nachhaltigkeit und Luxus aussehen kann. So unterschiedlich ihre Ansätze sind, Sie werden feststellen, dass diese Unternehmer alle Folgendes gemeinsam haben. Sie denken in Lösungen, gehen unternehmerisch ins Risiko und investieren in neue Ideen. Und dabei haben sie immer unser höchstes Gut im Sinn, unsere Gäste. Es ist mir also eine große Ehre und persönliche Freude, die Entscheidungsträger der besten Hotelgesellschaften der Welt begrüßen zu dürfen. Please welcome with me Neil Jacobs, Six Senses, Martin Smura, Grand Metropolitan, Puneet Chhatwal, Taj. Dr. Timo Grünert, Oetker Collection. Christian Bojenz, Belmont und Reni Niehoff, Kempinski. Christoph Maris von Manuel Oriental und Sir Rocco Forte mussten leider kurzfristig absagen. Ich bin mir aber sicher, dass wir Sie auf unserer nächsten Veranstaltung wieder als unsere Gäste begrüßen dürfen. Heute Abend sind auch wir Gäste. Und deshalb möchten wir uns auch bei denjenigen bedanken, die diese Veranstaltung möglich machen. Danke, Gobinjant, unserem großzügigen Gastgeber und seinem exzellenten Team, die diese Veranstaltung seit Monaten akribisch vorbereiten und heute Abend die 101 Besten mit uns zusammen umsetzen. Danke an unsere 101 Kuratoren. Sie sorgen dafür, dass unser Ranking immer so nah wie möglich an der Objektivität bleibt. Das ist unser Versprechen, unser Credo, denn die 101 Besten stehen auch für Transparenz, Fairness und Nachvollziehbarkeit. Danke, dass Sie, liebe 101 Freunde und Gäste, immer fest an unserer Seite stehen. Dankeschön an die Medienvertreter, dass so viele von Ihnen erschienen sind und Sie immer so großzügig über uns schreiben. Und danke an unsere Sponsoren und unsere Partner, allen voran der IU Internationalen Hochschule, dem Handelsblatt, der Madame und dem Hornstein Ranking. Ja, genau, ein ganz großes Dankeschön gilt natürlich unseren Sponsoren, denn sie ermöglichen die vielen 101 Veranstaltungen. Danke, dass Sie uns jedes Jahr aufs Neue Ihr Vertrauen schenken. Das wissen wir wirklich zu schätzen. Last but not least, danke, liebe Hoteliers, dass Sie immer wieder dem Ruf der 101 Besten folgen. Ich freue mich sehr, dass dieses Jahr wieder die besten Hoteliers aus Deutschland und nur noch einige aus Österreich, Schweiz und Südtirol zu Gast sind. Wie Sie sehen, wir entwickeln uns weiter. Letztes Jahr haben wir unser neues Ranking, die 101 besten Hotels Deutschlands, Österreich, Südtirol, angekündigt. Und nun ist es soweit. Am 5. Mai im nächsten Jahr werden wir im The Dolder Grand zum ersten Mal die Besten der Besten dieser Länder auszeichnen. Der 101 Executive Summit findet am gleichen Tag im Borolack statt. Sie sehen, ich freue mich schon heute und bin mir sicher, dass ich viele von Ihnen dort wieder begrüßen darf. Auch unser Ranking, die 101 besten Hotels Deutschlands, das Ranking, für das wir schließlich alle heute Abend hier sind, hat sich weiterentwickelt. Wir erleben heute die Präsentation unseres neuen Buches, welches einen Quantensprung darstellt. Entstanden ist ein exklusives Coffee Table Book in Zusammenarbeit mit dem Handelsblatt Verlag. Dabei gibt es zwei wesentliche Vorteile für Sie. Zum einen individualisieren wir das Buch. Das bedeutet, das Cover wird zukünftig Ihr Hotelbild oder für die Sponsoren Ihr Unternehmensbild tragen. Darüber hinaus ermöglichen wir die Verlinkung via QR-Code zur provisionsfreien und direkten Vernetzung auf Ihre Webseite. Ich bin mir sicher, das Buch wird Ihnen viel Freude bereiten, ebenso Ihren Gästen, Mitarbeitern und Kunden. Und wir freuen uns darüber, dass wir so viele Vorbestellungen wie noch nie erhalten haben. Auch unsere 101 Webseite wurde neu gestaltet. 6 Monate haben wir intensiv daran gearbeitet. Heute um 23 Uhr wird sie live gehen, sodass Sie schon morgen die Liste der Besten und die Gewinner der einzelnen Kategorien online einsehen können. Liebe Gäste, wie Sie sehen und genauso wie Sie, denken wir nicht in weniger Engagement, weniger Leistung, weniger Service, sondern in mehr. Mehr Angebot, mehr Gastfreundschaft und am Ende mehr gemeinsamen Erfolg. Mein Team und ich sind sehr stolz, dass Sie alle wieder dem Ruf der 101 Besten gefolgt sind. Und wir freuen uns darauf, diese heute Abend mit Ihnen zu zelebrieren. Nun können wir gespannt sein auf die nächsten 60 Minuten mit einigen der besten Hoteliers der Welt. In diesem Sinne bedanke ich mich bei Ihnen und freue mich, diesen besonderen Tag mit Ihnen zu verbringen. Vielen Dank.
Vielen Dank, lieber David, für diese wunderbare Einführung. Wir machen ein bisschen Platz auf der Bühne, weil die ist schon so knapp. Vielen Dank fürs Unterstützen. Wow, so now we skip into English because there's lots of international professionals here, so that's why I skip to English, and yeah, we start with the ceremony. So this year, the best companies of the world will be honored for the first time, so it's really amazing, and it's really unique in the world. So the basis for these ratings are, of course, the 100 best criteria, as you already know, and also the editor's choice. Because each of the 100 best hospitality partners and editors has many years of experience and also publicity recognized experience. So this is the basis of the criteria. And of course, there's one person missing here on the stage, so please give a warm round of applause for Carsten Karat. So, and it's really very exciting for all of us, because if you do something for the first time, it's always like goosebumps and like, you know, it's amazing. So we really start right away with the first award of the afternoon, with the first award in the new award ceremony. So it is the world's finest luxury experience. This is the first award, and it goes to Belmont. And Belmont Limited is an international hospitality and leisure firm. So first of all, welcome on stage. Leisure firm that operates luxury hotels, train services, and also river cruises. Belmont's pioneering attitude and passion for authenticity have enabled it to build and discover some of the world's most incredible travel experiences. Belmont has rightfully earned its distinction as offering the world's finest luxury experience by curating unparalleled journeys that combine opulent accommodations, exceptional service, and immersive cultural encounters. With a diverse collection of iconic properties, each Belmont hotel and train journey offers guests a gateway to unique destinations, fostering connections with local culture and history. This dedication to crafting transformative and lavish experience solidifies. So, yeah, congratulations, it's your award. You just say on stage with us. Thank you so much. Yes, you can stay here. Wonderful. So, wow, and we continue with the next award, and it's the world's finest traditional hotel company. And it goes to Kempinski. Kempinski recognized So Kempinski, recognized as the world's finest traditional hotel company. Congratulations to you. Congratulations. And this is your award. And it seamlessly weaves timelessly luxury into every phase of its operations. From heritage-rich architecture to unrivaled hospitality, Kempinski captures the hearts of travelers seeking opulence and an authentic connection to tradition. This accolade firmly places Kempinski among the world's finest traditional hotel companies, appealing to those who cherish both opulence and timeless heritage. So, congratulations. You're welcome. So, and the next award is the world's finest luxury grand hotels. And it goes to the Oetker Collection. Oetker Collection hotels are true masterpieces located in the world's most desirable destinations and include Hotel du Cap Eden Rock in Cap d'Antibes. Congratulations, welcome. And the Bristol Paris and Eden Rock in Saint-Barth, amongst others. Each property is a landmark and a timeless icon of sophistication, bonded by the brand's values of family spirit, elegance, and genuine kindness. Oetker Collection earns a title of the world's finest luxury grand hotels due to its unmatched commitment to timeless elegance, impeccable service, and prestigious heritage. With iconic properties and extraordinary locations, each Oetker Collection hotel is a masterpiece of sophistication, offering guests an unparalleled experience that combines rich history, exquisite design, and personalized attention, making them the epitome of opulent grandeur in the world of hospitality. And once again, congratulations to Oetker Collection. And we come to the world's finest luxury sustainable hotels. And this award goes to Six Senses Hotels and Spas. Six Senses and Six Senses Spas base each chapter on the same goal: to take the guest beyond places and into new experiences and cultures so they understand why they are traveling. So, congratulations. Wonderful to have you here with us. Being ecologically friendly and socially responsible is not just a nebulous pledge, whether as a visitor to one of the hotels or resorts, a residence owner, or spending time at one of the spas. World's finest luxury sustainable hotels, Editor's Choice Six Senses has earned its reputation among the world's finest luxury sustainable hotels by integrating environmental responsibility into every aspect of its operations. From eco-friendly architecture and renewable energy sources to locally sourced organic cuisine. The brand's unwavering commitment to preserving the natural beauty and cultural heritage of its surroundings while providing guests with luxurious, authentic experience makes Six Senses a true leader in sustainable luxury, appealing to travelers who value both opulence and environmental awareness. So once again, congratulations. And the world's finest luxury grand palaces goes to Taj. The unrivaled guardian of grandeur, Taj conjures a panoply of superlatives. So welcome on stage and congratulations. With an art of hospitality that has been perfected over a century, Taj delivers unmatched experiences and lasting memories for guests around the world. Taj Hotels, Resorts, Palaces claims a title of the world's finest luxury grand palaces by flawlessly blending regional heritage, impeccable service, and breathtaking architectural wonders. Each Taj property is a majestic palace steeped in history, offering guests a chance to immerse themselves in the opulence of bygone era while enjoying world-class hospitality. With a commitment to preserving the cultural essence of its host destinations, Taj Hotel Resorts Palaces offers an unparalleled experience that captures the essence of true luxury within the grandeur of palatial surroundings, making them the definitive choice for these seeking the ultimate in regional accommodations. So, once again, congratulations. So, and last but not least, here on stage, the world's finest upcoming hotel company. It goes to Grand Metropolitan Hotels. Congratulations. So, congratulations. Wonderful to have you here with us. So, Grand Metropolitan Hotels, heralded as the world's finest upcoming hotel company, seamlessly blends innovation and luxury. From cutting-edge architectural designs to exceptional hospitality, Grand Metropolitan Hotels captivate travelers in search of modern opulence and authentic experiences. This prestigious recognition firmly establishes Grand Metropolitan Hotels as a front-runner among upcoming hotel companies, appealing to those who value both contemporary luxury and the promise of a brilliant future in the realm of hospitality. Notably, Grand Metropolitan Hotels sets itself apart by collaborating with renowned brands and offering white label hotel management services. So once again, congratulations. So now we make a wonderful picture with all of you, so you can take your award and then just step into the stage, and we have a wonderful picture with all together on stage. Thank you so much. So these are the world's most luxurious hotel companies, and each is the winner in its own category. And on Wednesday, we release the press with all the details. So then you have also the details in the press and in the book. And once again, congratulations to your awards and to your achievements. So now you stay on stage, and the awards we just collect. And of course, you will receive them afterwards. Wonderful. Okay, thank you, David. Thank you, Carsten. Thank you. So now we start in the panel discussion, and I'm really happy to introduce a really wonderful, charming person who is now moderating the panel. And maybe you already know her, and because she's the founder of Waldburg PR and Communication, one of the most prestigious communication agencies in Europe. And its focus is, of course, on the luxury hospitality industry. Before she founded Waldburg PR and Communication, she was working in Madrid, in London, in Vienna, in Paris, and also in Berlin. And she is also co-founder of the wonderful Everyone for Climate initiative. It's a global hospitality initiative for climate protection, and she's a co-founder together with Prince Max von und zu Liechtenstein. So I'm really happy to introduce her, and I'm really happy to invite her here on stage. So please give a warm round of applause to Caroline von Waldburg.
Hello, 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 everyone. Congratulations for all your wonderful prizes. Hello, 101 hoteliers, dear audience, dear guests. It's a huge pleasure for me to be here with these visionary hoteliers and iconic hotel brands. And I hope we're going to speak about sustainability and luxury. And I hope we can give our audience some inspiration, some facts, some insights, maybe some encouragement. And but before we kick off, I have a video message here from one of the trailblazers of sustainable hospitality, a man called Sonu Shivdasani, which many of you will know or know of, or know his brand, which is... Can you still hear me? Yeah. Which is Soneva. So he unfortunately couldn't be here today, which he would have very much loved to, but instead of sent us this message. So please film up.
Hello, 101 Hotels. I believe that this ranking is the most relevant hotel ranking in Germany. I and my wife Eva are so proud to be part of it. Thank you so much for this honor. We also regret not being with you this evening. I understand there's going to be an interesting panel debate about luxury and sustainability. It's something that I'm very passionate about. Ever since we started our business, our whole purpose, we've always realized, Eva and I, that a company must have a purpose beyond simply in Hello, 101 Hotels. I believe that this ranking is the most relevant hotel ranking in Germany. I and my wife Eva are so proud to be part of it. Thank you so much for this honor. We also regret not being with you this evening. I understand there's going to be an interesting panel debate about luxury and sustainability. It's something that I'm very passionate about. Ever since we started our business, our whole purpose, we've always realized, Eva and I, that a company must have a purpose beyond simply in
Are we going to see the video, or shall we'll start? So to summarize maybe what Sonu was going to say, I was the lucky one to actually watch the video to the end, is that a brand has to have a purpose higher than revenue on its own. That he feels very much that it has to be sustainability and it has to be in the DNA of a brand, come from within, be genuine. And he feels that obviously that luxury and sustainability go together. But I'm very lucky to have Neil with me because he can probably finish it, as Six Senses and Soneva have historical ties. Sonu also founded Six Senses, which Neil, you've been at the helm of since 2012, and right?
That's correct.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
And so I hope, can you tell us, or the audience, maybe to finish Sonu's video greeting, how you've elevated the luxury experience while being sustainable from the core and from the outset?
I think before I do that, I mean, Sonu was executing on a sustainability agenda 30 years ago, before anybody could really pronounce the word sustainability, and was really a leader in the field by far, certainly in hospitality. And hospitality, as I think we know, this is perhaps a contentious comment, but it does not have a great record as an industry within sustainability. When we bought the company in 2012, it was very much with the goal to continue to drive that agenda that he had started long before that. At the same time, with a platform of wellness, because we don't see the two as particularly different. You know, wellness of the planet, wellness of everything is all part of the same conversation. But our goal, kind of you to say elevate, but our goal was to take the company from being what was a Southeast Asian beach resort company to and to create a global platform that included different hotel types and formats, and also to do a number of urban hotels, because we believe sustainability and wellness are equally, if not more important, within that urban environment. So that's what we've been doing over the last 11 years since buying the company.
When we speak of urban environment, it brings me to you, Timo, because the Oetker collection has some of the most exquisite grand hotels. You've just been awarded for it, which have not been, you know, the setup originally. Of course, some of these legendary hotels like Brenner's or Hotel du Cap are 150 years old. So actually, you faced a certain challenge to implement sustainability, but I know you started that journey already in 2015. What were the opportunities, or are the opportunities that you see, and maybe you can share some of the highlights of that journey?
Yeah, thank you, Caroline. And perhaps if you allow me one personal comment before I try to answer to your question, because you just made reference to the award that we received. So I'm obviously very happy that we were privileged to receive this award today. But I want to simply mention that I'm here on stage today and I took the award, but somewhere down there where you sit, there is the person who actually has created Oetker Collection and who came up with this idea 10, 12, 15, I don't know, 15 years ago probably. And I just want to make sure, Frank, that you deserve this accolades as well. It was your idea. Everything I know about hotels, I know from you. Where are you? Can't see you, so this is for sure your award as much as it's the one of the company. So, Caroline, I mean, this is a journey, right? And we, as you said, we are following on this subject for now 2015 more than before. Again, to Frank's initiative back in the days. We have then been reporting to UN Global Compact. We have achieved, good results there. But I felt really like 2 years ago that we need to go to the next level, and then we reorganized it in the company, and we now have Paul, whom you know very well, who oversees sustainability at Oetker Collection. Paul went on a roadshow and he visited all the hotels, and to cut a long story short, we are now having an Excel file which consists of 700 measures all around the hotels. Now this is small ones and big ones, and it's of course environmental, and it's social, and it's community related. So my point is, this is a journey for the long run, and this has so many different facets that I would even feel, it would be not right to just pick 2 or 3 initiatives. We might get there later to some examples, but it's really covering this as a whole, with a real structure in the company, with a real mindset change. It needs the culture, it needs repetition. It doesn't come completely naturally, because everybody in a hotel is busy, as we all know here in the room, from morning to evening with other things. So it's a long journey, and we have done the next step. We're working through this list, and it's something that was a big learning for me, because honestly, when I took the job, I was trying to find these 3, 4, 5, quick wins, which I can easily remember, and then this is the go-to. And I changed my perspective, and in my mind, I have now this list, and if the company makes progress to go through these 600-700 measures, then we are on a very good way.
Thank you. René, you're also a traditional hotel company, so the same question almost goes to you. Where do you see, again, hotel companies that have existed for so long, that have been built up, that actually have to start implementing this? Maybe you can share how you do that with your employees also, how you get everyone on board, how you inspire, and maybe what are your goals and ambitions?
Before I answer the question, Carsten Raad asked me to be in this panel, and I was surprised talking about sustainability. As with Kempinski, we are in transition period. We're changing a lot in the company, and I realized that sustainability was not my first priority, sadly, because I read an article that at the moment, I think 38% of our guests who enjoy luxury are willing to spend more on the rate if you have some certifications of sustainability. And it's not a surprise. We will not be the first one in class. We have a little bit of a conservative approach with our hotels. Nevertheless, we developed a fantastic plan, and having multiple hotels around the world, it's not a surprise. Being in Africa or being in China, that is not the first thing that's on the agenda, sustainability by the owners. Nevertheless, we have a lot of initiatives, a lot of partnerships that we are working with. BE Health is a company that we own. They raise an extra money for making the world better, EarthCheck, etc. So most of us are with these partnerships. The only thing we can do is we need to emphasize every board meeting, every general manager need to deliver the message. Sustainability is very important, and that is what the modern guest now wants to see. To that point, I'm going to ask you, Puneet. Speaking of sustainability, and I think what lies underneath is revenue, and I think, Neil, of course, I know your opinion here, but maybe, Puneet, where, you mentioned SEGs Plus before, maybe you'd like to elaborate a little bit on that, and also maybe some inspiration why this can actually be a revenue driver, and because guests want or are expecting that more and more, that hotels actually work and are managed sustainable, and that also goes into governance, of course, and ESGs and communities.
Yeah, thank you. I think the world has kind of moved on from sustainability. So there are several things here, but before I get into that, let me just share with you and the audience something interesting not many people know of. Sonu's video got stuck at Purpose, right? Now, our founder of the group is the Tata Group, is Jamshedji Tata, and he defined purpose 155 years ago. And what he said, and with the saying that guides all the Tata Group companies, more than 100 plus, it's the top 10 conglomerate in the world, that community is not just another stakeholder. Community is not just another stakeholder, rather the purpose of the existence of any business. And that has been the guiding force for the group companies for 155 plus years. The second interesting part is Taj is the oldest operating company of this group, which is celebrating 120 years this year. And we define Taj as trust, awareness, and joy. So trust of all our stakeholders, which includes the community. Awareness of our communities, what is happening around them, what is responsible, what is not responsible. And joy in doing whatever we do. Purpose and these core values are very important because we can change our business plans every 3 years, 5 years, put a different goal, have 100% Earth Check certified hotels, but you can't change your culture every year. So I think these are the two very interesting things I wanted to share. The third is, as a publicly listed company, I can tell you for sure that a lot of investors will not invest in your company if you don't have a high rating on ESG+. So the sustainability is a small part of the ESG plus where the world has moved on to. And we launched a program. We've been doing this for decades, since our inception, but very strongly for decades. So we have a program which is called Pathya. It's a word derived from Sanskrit, which is the mother of most of the languages in that part of the world, just like Latin is here. And Pathya means walking or embarking on the right path. And then there are 6 pillars of Pathya with the 6 P's. But mainly it is 100% recycling of water, 100% single-use plastic free. It is creating 100,000 skilling new people to get them into the job world. For technical reasons, the only thing which is not 100 is using renewable energy, which is 50%, because all that is not within our control, and all this to be achieved by 2030. Beyond this, there is embracing the UNESCO's mandate of embracing all the ESG plus initiatives, which is almost 20 of them. And finally, very recently last year, together with WTTC, we came up with the basics of sustainability, and a lot of hotel companies signed up on them, and we are also one of those who did that. So I think one part is the global, and one part is the regional, and then the local. And every country is in a different phase of its life cycle. So Scandinavia, for example, was always way ahead on the ESG plus initiatives. And India has other challenges because we're based out of India. Now, for us, skilling 100,000 people is a very big deal. Our total employees that we employ is 35,000, maybe we need another 20. But the remaining 80 is for the rest of the country and getting them into employment, into workforce. So I think a lot of this, we have to have a global platform, we have to have a regional platform, what is relevant for the region, and then we need to work in the local communities. Preserving cultural heritage is a very important part of our strategy. So for last 3 decades, as an example, the ladies in the hotels that work who wear a sari, it's done by the Banaras Sari weavers, the holy city of Banaras. So that's how you preserve some of those scaling and the cultural initiatives. So I think it's a very complex subject.
It is, of course, and we're not going to...
And it's all revenue driven. Actually, you're more profitable, you use less energy, over time, you have, I think Renee said that, the people who will pay you more because you know that you are having the initiatives which help the community. And I saw that, if I take just 1 minute more, I saw that firsthand because it's important for this audience to hear that. During COVID, Taj supplied 6 million meals to frontline workers in hospitals as there was no way to get food to them. And we hosted 120,000 bed nights in hotels. And during COVID and post-COVID, our market share went up. It was always the loved and the preferred brand from India, but it became more loved and more preferred because of the once-in-a-100-year pandemic that hit, because this is where people saw that trust, they saw that awareness, and they saw the joy. And that is also that helped us get out of it the first, and we really went into like a real upward spiral post-COVID.
Yeah, great, thank you. Christian, would you be, because we're talking about revenues, and would you, or at Belmont, I know you put a big brand focus also on experience and connecting with the destination. Where do you see how sustainable practices come in here, and would you be, do you think it is without sacrificing this luxury experience, and maybe you can give a few examples?
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. Number one, I think, listening to my colleagues as well, you have to differentiate a little bit. If you talk about city hotels, if you talk about resorts, you have to also differentiate a little bit your approach if you're a managed company or you're the owner-operator. So all the actions change a little bit what you can do. I think the positive news is that I think sustainability has been on all your executive retreats and meetings and benchmark settings and whatnot for the last 10 years. But my gut feeling is the last 2-3 years, it is really not a top-down approach anymore, but it comes also from the people upwards. We have with LVMH, our owner, a lot of investments now coming into Belmont. So now for every, table, carpet and whatnot, what we're purchasing, the traditional approach was how good is the quality, how good is the design, and what is the delivery time? And now the fourth question is like, is it sustainable, yes or not? Having said that, now at Belmont, we do a lot of studies on it. We have some professionals that know it much better than we do that help us with it. One of the surprises that we took away was that food and beverage is by far the leader, at least in the Belmont collection. We have about 50 properties, trains, and cruises. Food and beverage represents about 60% of our environmental impact. That could be in a city hotel as much as, not serving bottled water, but having premium filtered water offered. And you can get 3 stars with it, by the way, to a resort in Castello di Carsole, where you have your own vineyard, your own olive oil, your own vegetable plant and whatnot. So it really goes all across. So when you look at that food and beverage, even if you brand yourself a very eco-friendly, very environmental, very development-focused resort, I was at an event in Mexico. You had Grüner Veltliner from Austria on the menu. You had the meat from Australia. You had this and that. I think baby steps, but right now the commitment is clear. And I think the positive thing is we tried a couple of things, and we didn't get the whiplash, so to say, that we were afraid of. Maybe we don't automatically offer bottled waters. You don't, maybe you do try a couple of, for example, the big discussion was for months was the eco pump in the showers. So if we open Cheval Blanc in Paris and you put big shampoo bottles in the shower, people think you're saving money and try to skip it. So put this little ones in the bathtub if you want to steal them, no problem. Or you take them with them, you paid for it, of course. But not one complaint. The filtered water, you get 3 stars in 6 months, and we didn't have one negative comment on it. So I guess my message would be it's coming up even from the clients and from the line staff. Every purchase commitment now with all the investments we're taking has to be considered. And don't be afraid to try things, right?
Thank you. I was going to say that. I think you have to take I don't want to even call it a risk. It has to be, number one, it might be an investment now, but if you don't take that step, it'll be much more costly in the future. Neil?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with some of what everyone said. I disagree with some of what everyone said. I think at the end of the day, you know, you have to have a very strong point of view, because it starts with the culture of the company. And if one is, and so I do believe it's very much a top-down approach, that if the executive committee or the chairman or the owner has not bought into it, it's not going to happen. I agree with you when you say it's now, I don't think that's gone away, but I think our employees are telling us that they want to work for companies that care about the environment. Our guests, some of our guests are, not all of them. And the question is, are we ready to do pretty much what you described around, just take the example of the water, are we ready to take a position and say, we're not going to ship Perrier and San Pellegrino around the world because of carbon footprint?
They're not a sponsor, I hope. No, they're not sponsoring. No,
No, we're fine. We're
not.
safe. We have very good local water in Bavaria.
But we can create our own water. You know, in our case, we have very sophisticated RO plants in every single hotel. So we are making our own water. But, you know, that has a financial implication. So whether you're an owner of the hotel or you're the operator of the hotel, you have to deal with those issues for sure. But it's really comes back to the position you take as a company around the subject, and have the belief and the bravery to drive that forward at the risk of maybe losing some customers.
Yeah, but
because you lose some, but you'll get some more.
You win some, you lose some. Martin, we haven't heard you yet. With a newly founded hotel management company, to the point of Neil and Christian, where do you see also in terms of employees, but also guests, as it has to come from the top down? Maybe as the company is newly founded. So
yeah, that's the case. Yeah, we started in 22 September, and we have 80 properties under management now. And I would like to follow a little the lead from my neighbor here, because I also have somebody in the audience I would like to thank, which is the chairman of our main investor. It's a pension fund in Berlin. It's Dr. Ingo Rellermeier. He must be somewhere here. And they are the sole owner of many of our properties and shareholder in the company. So some of the nice award I would like to thank him, because without him as an investor, that wouldn't have worked. Now, coming to your question, I think, and one thing I do first, once that is finished, I buy some shares from Taj Hotels, you know, because I think this seems to be a profitable venture, you know, from what I have heard now. Now, in any case, I think we shouldn't kid ourselves. You know, we can have here nice discussions, and I think, of course, it is good. Nothing is good unless you do it, and you have to start the journey. But the hospitality industry is anything but not sustainable, okay? And we have to understand we are the opposite of it. I mean, if you go to, when everybody has hotels in Dubai or you go there, how much water is consumed, how much, electricity is consumed, how much food waste is produced. Of course, we have to start working to minimize this, but you can put it any way. If you take a private jet to fly, your footprint is somewhat different than taking a plane where 500 people that sit there and get from A to B as well. You know, so yes, and we get more money. Why do we get more money? Because people they pay a little more to get a good feeling, to indulge themselves in luxury. And I think, Neil could the whole thing. I mean, this is a company which really is on the forefront of changing this. But I think there's a long way to go, because it's not about changing the plastic straw and not taking bottled water. this is not a sustainable venture. You know?
No, absolutely, and it's the pole position. It's just the starting point.
So
actually.
it's so of course, you know, it comes with the culture. If you run a hotel as any other business, people, give you an example, if you don't, as a manager of your hotel, if you don't, you know, put a focus on that it's clean, it's not going to be clean, because your employees will understand it's not a focus, so it won't be clean, you know. So you have, it's a cultural thing, and that's what comes down to what Neil said. So if you make it important, it will be important, and you have to lead by example to basically put it on the agenda. And to answer your question, our focus is of course growing. That is not very sustainable either, but we make it part of our culture. We hired a top-class sustainable officer. She was from OMV. I hired her for Kempinski, and I'm sorry, Irene, I took her a long while leaving, but so in all our business plans, it is an important part of the business plan, because we manage properties on behalf of owners, and they are only interested if it makes money. The good thing is that in today's world, it can make money if you really conceptualize these from A to Z. And there are hotels which can provide this. So we have in our business plan for one hotel, which is a farm-to-table concept, where we're going to be completely independent, basically producing our own energy with there's some possibilities to have biogas. We take the food waste in putting in that, and there are wonderful concepts coming up, and that is the way to go. But it's taking investments. If it's investment, it has to bring a return. And if you look at it, you know, I mean, we refurbished a lot of hotels. The returns are 10 years. Nobody's interested in that, you know, to put a complete new system in there for heating and you know, also cooling and that sort of thing. And so we have to understand this industry is anything but sustainable, you know, because go to Dubai, 50 degrees outside. The water in the pool has to be cooled inside 22.
I saw Timo shaking his head a little bit.
Well, we're not in Dubai.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
But that's not the reason he doesn't go there, right?
I know. There is. Maybe you want to comment.
No, I think, you know, it's. I agree with many of your statements. Okay, and what I share is the feeling that, you know, you have conversations like this, and then, you know, we're all kind of saying the same thing, and we're on so being on a good way doesn't mean being the most sustainable industry in the world. Okay, so let's just get this out of the room, and you have just pushed it out of the room, so now it's out, and now as it's out, let's start getting better. And I agree with you that, you know, if you of course pick a hotel in Dubai, that's the most obvious example, but there are some hotels in Dubai and many others are not in Dubai. So let's perhaps start. For me, it's easy. We don't have one in Dubai. And you said it's not for that reason. Yeah, you're right. But we have owners who are who are of course related to the brand of the company, the Oetker family, and they're very thoughtful about all kinds of things. If I show them an investment for a 10-year return, they do tomorrow, because they believe so much in the principal idea that a 10-year return is fine. Now, if I say, you know, it's 35 years return or there's no return at all, well, then it's a bit of a different conversation. But I guess and we have, you know, we have partners, investment companies from New York. Yeah, they are ultimately looking at the dollar, but I'm surprised sometimes that, you know, you have people in front of you and they are quite reasonable when it comes to these things.
Neil, you put that in your standards, no?
I mean, you're absolutely right. And, you know, it's about also, you own your own hotels, you know, in many cases, but as a management company, it's also about doing deals with owners that do care about it. I mean, everybody wants a return. We want a return. You want I mean, that goes without saying. And today, to build more of a sustainable hotel does not imply the kind of development cost premium that it did 10 or 20 years ago. One can do this. Sure, it's a tiny bit more expensive. It's maybe 5% or 7%, but you can show that through how you structure a pro forma and the fact that the customer is prepared to pay for that. So it's about being strong with it and really not giving too many options and creating, as you said, in our case we have very, and in your case, very strict standards that cover construction, that cover renovation. So, I mean, the built environment, you have to define that. One person in a corporate office running sustainability is likely not going to have huge impact. It has to come into the hotels. We insist now that each hotel has a director of sustainability that reports through, and it's not the old days we had a green team. It was the GM's assistant who ran it once a month and talked about recycling. It's now a director of sustainability that touches every single department. Is the police force within that hotel. You have to take it, we believe, to those kind of levels to get the buy-in that people were talking about. And, you know, all our executives are compensated. They have sustainability targets. That gets everybody's attention quite quickly. All our GMs, new GMs we bring in, are interviewed by Director of Sustainability or Head of Sustainability. Are they the right person? We don't expect everyone to be an expert, but we do expect everyone to care. Otherwise, go and work for another hotel company. So it's a ton of these small things that have to be in place to really make impact that is lasting.
Christian, would you do that? Would you interview new employees on that level? Is that something that you would see as a goal or an ambition?
Totally depends on the position. I think if it's a director of sales, I'm not sure this would be the majority of the thing, but it's.
But you would have your director of sales commit to that.
Yeah, I think it's some obvious. For example, I give you the example of our resort properties. There we would accept that maybe in Italy, where the majority of our properties, this whole, if we say food has a big impact on sustainability, that you say, listen, guys, come in Italy, you can get away with a farm to table program in every in each property you manage. I think if I look back to my Ritz Paris days, every day between 3 and 5 private jet arrivals. Bourget, I mean, we know 35 minutes to get to Place Vendôme. It was like you had it all down. So are those clients more, sensible to that? Probably not. But what I tried to say earlier is that now for the first time, I really feel the last couple of years, people, they complain if the buffet is too generous. They say, what are you doing with this food? Like clients ask you, or staff have proactive, suggestions. This is what we could do better. And I think I am looking at it rather positively. Now, having this whole farm-to-table concept in Italy, it works very well. In our Orient Express, or the Simpleton Orient Express, it's a little bit more difficult, right? The thing is moving non-stop. But it's. I think everybody at least can raise the awareness, and I do see that in all of our teams. Is it a key recruitment in some positions? Yes, in others not. For example, Italian chef, there would be no way we would hire someone if he wants to only do Wagyu steak all day long. Do we do that in a sales role today? I would not say no. Not part of the interview process at this point.
Puneet,
I actually feel good because I think it's a competitive advantage, and nobody wants to play on that turf. Yeah. Everyone is saying something which I personally, not for the sake of disagreeing, because on the panel you have to disagree with each other, but if culture is important, whether it is top down, bottom up, coming from the chairman or from the board, if your culture is not, as I'm giving an example, is not a fit with a partner with whom you're doing a management agreement, the agreement will not work anyways. It has nothing to do. Sustainability is only one small part of the thing. So if your people, you don't have to hire salespeople who talk sustainability, or you don't have to hire chefs. but having that atmosphere, the culture, the understanding, or the better word is empathy for these kind of initiatives and an understanding, and being a catalyst that you're not blocking, you're embracing the change and you're helping that change. That is what forms the fabric of a company. That's what forms the culture of a company. If that's there, it will change. It will keep evolving. And over time, it's all a better place. I mean, I'm just don't understand, if you even look at where we are staying, where are all those plastic bags for your laundry? It's all gone. What is your door hanger which says, clean my room, or, do not disturb? It's all different. This is not how this hotel was 15, 20 years ago. It also looks very nice. So I think it's an opportunity. Nothing comes for free. It costs money, but ultimately, my take is it has a very high payback.
Exactly. When we look at
May I bounce back on that point? Actually, I think it's a very good point. But if you really analyze and you put somebody at the loading dock and you look at your water consumption, your energy and whatnot, and you really have hard data, what really would have an impact, I think the LED light bulb suddenly, gets a different meaning. It's actually really, really interesting. I was very surprised when I saw what really has an impact, because the general, with the hanger and whatnot, but even if it would be a plastic hanger, I would assume they only change it once a year maybe, so I think it wouldn't be that bad. But I think what really has an impact, Mamma mia, I think the whole culture has to change what you use.
Also, with looking into those 10 years, and you speaking about investors, what investors want, well, in 10 years' time, we have Generation Z who are literally heading for all the luxury properties. They will definitely expect that. So that should be something that turns investors to make those investments maybe today, because it will be, otherwise they're going to lose out in 10 years from now.
Yeah, that's exactly how I see it as well. If you look at the modern guest nowadays, what is the modern guest looking at? They're looking at privacy, feeling home, experiencing the local community, and I see a huge potential in farm to table for Kempinski. I think there is where we as a brand can do a lot more, because we are around the world and we have these beautiful cultures in so many destinations that you're not aware of, and that is what the modern guest wants. And I think they will help us in putting sustainability, being part of the culture.
Exactly, but it's a bit like we've established that everybody's doing something. Everybody's trying, at least. Some more, some less. Some have more challenges. But if we look at this as like peeling an onion, that you've come to remove plastic, you've come to reduce waste and work on your energy consumption, etc. Where are your big challenges? Let's maybe start with Neil.
Well, before I get into challenge, I think earlier on it was talked about can you have sustainability coexist with a luxury product, right? That's kind of the big question. So I kind of would put it out there as, that really depends on how you define luxury and how you define luxury today, which is a little bit what you were saying compared to how we defined it 10 or 20 years ago. And I think that luxury, that traditional luxury customer has evolved, is younger. Younger generations have more money to spend in our hotels than they did 10 or 20 years ago, and they're looking for something somewhat different, generally, to what we had before. So I think that's a big part of it, which is why we believe it certainly can coexist together.
I think the most challenging is, if you ask me, signing a deal with a huge profit. I think I would go for it, and sustainability, unfortunately, will be on the second place. And it's all about the short-term results. It's all about the money.
Why can't you have both?
I would once more slightly disagree with that, because I have conversations with, our property in Sao Paulo is owned by an investment firm from New York. I mean, these are very smart people, and you would normally look at their office and you think, they make lots of money. They do. But where do they get the money from? They get the money from the pension fund from Norway. Do you think the pension fund from Norway cares about sustainability? Oh, absolutely they do. Huh? So
Yeah.
they don't live anymore in a
Bubble.
I can't speak for all of them, but the people I speak to, even when they are from the financial side, they don't live in a financial shareholder value bubble anymore where they say, this is some side business. It's not the reality I perceive, to be honest.
But Timo,
Martin,
now is toch clear, if you look at the world, the future is in Saudi Arabia. There are things happening in Saudi Arabia a lot of people don't know. It is amazing what is happening there. And we as a brand, we want to be there. And unfortunately, if you be there, unfortunately, in this part of the world, sustainability is not number one on the agenda.
I'm
happy that everybody
Now let's go.
disagree with that. I mean, I think in Saudi Arabia, what is happening with the sustainability agenda is more advanced than probably anywhere else in the world.
Okay,
if you think there is some 250 hotels under construction in Saudi, and each of those giga projects has a highly articulated approach to sustainability. And if you don't comply with that as the operating company, you're not going to get the deal.
Martin, what do you think?
I have to come back to that. The good news, basically, in my view, is any development, in a way, has its advantages. So if, for instance, with looking in this part of the world, energy prices exploding, so people are forced, to look into other solutions which are sustainable in order to get away from very expensive ways to heat and cool and get water hot and all of that. That's an upside, because the environment is going to benefit from that. If people put their mind to it, there can be things changed. But we shouldn't kid ourselves. No, sorry. Yes, that is to begin with lip service. If you say, okay, you put cities in the desert, okay, that has nothing to do with sustainability. Even if you put a long list of nice wordings, what to do and what not to do, and for sure you can have sun heating, that would work. And the reality is slightly different. I don't think, you sold your company to a big company. I have been working for this company 17 years. Don't know, things might change, But if you get a deal in front of you, and the owner is maybe not that sustainable, your product is very defined. So nobody who would be, engaging in that sort of project or in that sort of understanding would come to you anyway, But as far as your mothership is concerned, that's flag on the maps, They want to sign deals, And I can assure you that if it makes money, it is on the agenda. Now, the good news is sustainability can make money, and I think as managers of companies, it is our responsibility to put it on the map. I said in the beginning, for all our hotels, and we have some very small properties, one proportion of the business plan is sustainability. So we have sustainability in our business plan. But it's an economic approach, saying, okay, what do we spend now? What is the investment to change this? And on the long run, unfortunately, investors like the Oetker family, not everybody has those. They think in decades.
Yeah, but I was also talking about an investment fund from the US. And I could go on. The conversations even we have with Adia from Abu Dhabi, and of course they are again in the desert. They challenge us on sustainability. I'm not sure if perhaps we speak to completely different people. I don't want to paint the picture pink, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, look, every investor jumps on anything and so great, you put this in front of me, I don't care about the return. I'm not saying that, but I see more positive feedback. Perhaps if I may, just on the challenges, which perhaps fits to the subject. Yeah, there are super big and many challenges. One that comes to my mind is that you still today have in many conversations, be it with colleagues, employees, guests, perhaps less, conversations where when the word sustainability comes up in combination with luxury, people think immediately, oh, nothing more to eat. Okay, you'll just take away 50% of the breakfast buffet and you don't replace it because, you know, can't have the avocado there anymore, for sure. So, you know, my colleague Paul, who runs this, he always uses an example to make it, to create understanding to our own colleagues and employees. And he says, look, think about Tesla. And I know we have some car enthusiasts in the audience who don't like Tesla, but the point is that he says that to explain, look, before Tesla came to the market, there were electric cars. But everybody looked at an electric car like, you know, this is like the most ugliest, like worst thing you can imagine. Okay, you have to decide if you want to go sustainable, electric, ugly, or you stick like with you know what we had before. And what Tesla did, you like the car or not, they changed the perception to say, well, you can have electric, sustainable, with all the caveats that we can now could say, and all of a sudden it was cool. So he uses this example to say, look, let's not think sustainability in terms of doing less and taking things away. We have to find smarter things. You know, of course, there will be a full breakfast buffet, and then we go again, local communities, local produce, all the rest of it. And then the guest might say, you know, this is lovely. So, but that is a challenge because that's not a common sense for everybody yet.
I agree, but if you've seen amazing, I think I agree with luxury is not about sacrificing. I think my personal and most amazing luxury experiences have been linked to something, let's say, with connecting with nature in some way, or definitely being eco-friendly.
So what Nell said, how you define luxury? You know, if it is basically you have space, you indulge yourself in peace, you be in nature, all of that is an increasing market for people who would like to experience that. But you know, in my view, if we come to Tesla, you know, the carbon footprint of electric cars today, you know, you mentioned it, but the fact is that if the energy is not clean produced, your car is unfortunately not running on green energy, and that has nothing to do with being environmental friendly. The opposite is the case. The position really is that carbon footprint of an electric car today, you know, is much greater than compared to a diesel engine, you know, which is running. That's the fact. These are the facts. Nobody wants to hear that, but these are the facts. No, yes.
No, look, and that's why I try to make the caveat. I have to make it now 30 seconds longer because I understand that and I don't disagree. But it's the perception which is the first step, exactly. Okay? If you have 10 conversations a day and 9 people don't follow you in principle because they say, Timo, what are you talking about? Luxury and sustainability is just the opposite. Then an example like this helps to make people think, yeah, so you're not telling me that I can't use whatever anymore and I have to sacrifice on it. No, just be smarter, try to find something new. Now here we could have now a technology conversation. I agree with the principles, just to make that clear for the evening, if somebody wants to.
And a guest, Timur, if you ask them, I think they prefer more a hamburger from the grill as from the microwave.
No, but you know, there are hotel companies like Soneva I've recently experienced who don't actually even serve beef unless you really ask for it. And you know what? While you're there, you have really opulence in food. You would never even notice that there's no beef because, as you say, there are so many other opportunities, there are so many other choices. I had to be told, actually, that that's something they're trying not to serve anymore because of the big carbon footprint, and there are so many other amazing things you can do. So why aren't we creative?
I can
Christian?
jump in on the 60% of food and beverage impact that beef is very much a contributor. So they have to want at least maybe to do a little bit of menu engineering to reduce that a little bit. Not a bad idea. And if I also can defend, I think a little bit the trends, even if it's a city hotel or a resort, if you look at the wine by the glass list, I think like maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was so trendy to have the wine from South Africa, and then you have the one from Australia, and then you had this one from Germany, and this. I think now when you go into a destination, you really do have a true sense of what I think all of our companies probably try to push for is a sense of place, right? So yeah, sure, champagne from France is not bad. Let's keep a couple of those bottles. But I think you'll find in most countries some decent white and red, and that's what you push forward. You celebrate your wedding anniversary and you want to have a bowl of strawberries, sure, we'll bring it to you, but maybe we don't have to put it on the breakfast buffet and oversized. I think if people ask for it, at least in our hotels right now, we try to satisfy to make the guests not feel guilty about maybe something ordering against the sustainability philosophy. At the same time, so we don't educate them. On the same time, I do feel our clients today, they want to feel good how they spend their money. And if you can make them feel good how they spend their money, I think both win. Sorry.
And I would even go further that I think hotels, with especially these luxury hotels with the amazing guests we're hosting, I think these guests also want to be inspired. And the younger guests, and that, René, I think you're going to investment here or there, but younger guests will expect more sustainable measures. I think you'll be penalized if you...
Let me give you a few examples here. It's very interesting. Firstly, I think we are all saying the same thing.
Not quite.
But also not quite. Why? Because there is just one thing which is missing. You know, sustainability is not some kind of a switch you switch on. Now you're sustainable. Till yesterday you were unsustainable. It's a journey that we embark upon. It's a marathon, right? That's one. But I give you a couple of examples where it's really a competitive advantage. Definitely, as Martin said earlier, in leisure segment. We built a Taj hotel in an island of Andamans, which is between India and Thailand, which is 100% sustainable. Everything, not even one tree was taken down there. There are trees that come through the rooms. So this is a great example. People go there because it's like that. People spend far more, like I would say even 100% more they're willing to pay. We're developing islands north of Maldives and Lakshadweep. They have to be like that because that is the beauty of that place. Otherwise you destroy the beauty. So there are places which will be 100%. Then there are city hotels which will be slowly getting there because there are old buildings. There are a lot of things. If you open up the walls, the roofs, many other fire regulations, etc. come in, so you have to change. But that change is happening. We're already maybe many years into that journey. And I do believe that there is no other choice and there is no other alternative. We have to do it, and we can't make an excuse that as especially responsible leaders, and now you have even got an award on the stage, we can't say this doesn't go together. We have to say it goes together, and we'll do whatever we can to make it happen. And to go to our first moderator, you know, she was saying many sayings. There is another saying, very famous one, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. If you want to walk far, walk together. So I think all of us have to walk this talk together and make a world a better place, and that's what it is.
Well, what I like to come back to is if, you know, there is a benefit, because the world is changing, and the good examples we have been hearing is if you have a defined product, you know, like Six Senses, that is a competitive advantage, and it is a very nice brand story, and that is the reason why people are willing to pay a lot of money to stay there, and you create your market. And because that is successful, Neil will not have a difficulty to find investors to do it. Why? Because it is successful and it makes money, okay? So, and that is, in the end of the day, what moves the world, okay? So the world is changing, natural resources get expensive, you know, and while that is happening, if the gas is sold for the cent, this country is the best example. Nobody thinks of doing anything else because we're getting it dirt cheap, you know, and lets the industry power on it. You know, that's what we have done now for years. Now it's getting expensive. Oh, now everybody is on top of changing it, you know, and change come about if the environment is changing and you're forced to. And if you are ahead of the game and you anticipate what will change, you're going to be a front runner. You have a competitive advantage. You know, you invest in the right things, you know. And if you find investors like Timo, you know, you even can tell it's happening in 35 years. You know, we are a Norwegian pension fund. Happy to take their money, you know. While I have to say, our investor is here as well. They are very sustainable, and we have these conversations as well, which is great. But change comes about from necessity, you know. So if that is driving it, and that gives the basically also the speed in things changing. I mean, these countries here, they changed overnight because no more cheap gas. Now we get sustainable, okay, and that is what the world is about, you know. And we can discuss another hour. You will not convince me now that it has, you know, building a city in the desert is a sustainable venture, you know.
I could talk for hours about Saudi Arabia, but that is a complicated conversation. But I just still believe that it can all coexist. You know, that Europe probably is the part of the world that has the more legislation out there today, that you're obliged to do certain things in a certain way. America's, who knows what's coming there. Parts of Asia good, other parts not so good. But if you wait for all of that, I think you miss the boat. I think to find that competitive advantage whereby you can do it and you can make money. You know, we always talk. We talk today about triple bottom line and all of that. It can be done. So if you wait, you may miss the boat, and you know your older clientele in 20, 30 years may not be around anyway. And the younger people are demanding it. So just from a pure commercial perspective, the sooner as an industry we get our arms around it and drive it forward in a conscious, purposeful, commercial way, we're all winning, you know. We're all winning.
If I may add, even I think every day we have in the middle management of the properties also decisions being taken where I do feel sometimes sustainability was not on the forefront. I see still like purchase orders for new company cars coming through. I see the limousine partners that we extend without insisting that they maybe have certain, you know, all the partners we work with, every purchase order you sign, there's so much with really a reasonable effort you could make such a big impact. And this is, especially we see it now because we invest so much, but it's there would be something to start as well in each property to say, starts from the assistant room service manager that replaces this coffee station setup, you know, what decisions need to be done. You know?
Yeah. If we look at the future, like let's say 2030, which is only in 6 years away, in relation to this panel, Puneet, how's your outlook? Where do you think we are? Who's winning? Who's...
Well, one, as I said at the outset, one is your global approach, the regional, and what you need. We are a listed company. For us, there is no way out. Integrated reporting is a requirement by law. It's just a given. So the things that we're talking about here are very elementary. They're already a part of our annual report that goes out. As I said before, there are a lot of investors, whether they are from US or from Singapore or wherever, who invest in your stock. One of the reasons they invest is not just your business plan and just the returns you make. Rather, if you are qualified under their criteria that you're doing enough on the ESG plus, not just sustainable part. And whatever I spoke about earlier about our own program called Pathya, all those are measurable goals till 2030. And we are not saying that we'll have a pit stop and check where we are in 2025. It's an annual reporting and an annual budget. And up till now, on all the measurable criteria, we are ahead of the guidance that we have given till 2030.
Neil, what are your hopes for 2030 or goals?
You know, there were moments when I always get irritated when someone is super proud that there are no more plastic straws, and I go, you know, well, that was easy, just kind of don't buy them anymore, right? But then on the other hand, I think that's unkind, because it is all about small steps. As you said, this is a big, everyone said, a huge topic. So as long as the intention is coming from the right place, and that is from the top, small steps are okay, because ultimately the laws will dictate and the customer will tell you. So the sooner you get ahead, the better. So to me, it's more of the same, and it is changing, and it's definitely changing since COVID in a positive way. So I'm optimistic about the future and that how the industry will finally, you know, move forward and do some great things.
Christian, what do you think?
I'm not sure that will be perfect in 2030, but I would be really happy if we could say as a team, at least for our group, that we've done a really sincere effort and look how far we came along. I think that would be a good first step. I see it, again, and not to be, you know, misunderstood on the top-down thing. I think it was a top-down approach for a long time, where, you know, you had it in the GM's objectives for the year that they have to be, you know, have 3, you know, measurable, sustainable elements. But even better, now that it even comes from the staff, from the clients, it makes it so much easier for us to try stuff also and get away, you know, with trying something. Some things might work, some don't work. But I think to have a real, you know, awareness, and that we now, with all the investments we're taking, that we don't badly invest in stuff that, you know, is obsolete in 5 years from now. Exactly. That would be a good one.
What about this side of?
Well, it could be that I'm from Holland. I'm very realistic. If you ask me these questions, I see, if I look at Kempinski, I see it very positive, and I do believe we will be much better as we are now. But at the other hand, I also see there is still a huge demand of oil in the world. And I believe if this demand does not reduce, it will be, as my colleagues say, it will be a step-by-step, a marathon to getting there where we need to be.
Timo, what are your ambitions?
Well, perhaps I can say 2 things which are indirectly related. I listened on my way here today. I listened to a podcast and I read some newspapers. And from the podcast, somebody quoted Bill Gates, which I have not heard before, but I found it somehow interesting. Apparently, Bill Gates says people tend to overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but they also tend to underestimate what they can do in 10 years. I like that. So perhaps that's, you know, one thing. And what was the other thing that I read about? Slipped my mind. I'll share it once Martin comes back.
Now, I think we live in very interesting times. And what I think is in this changing environment, we're going to see fundamental change within 2030. The time of limitless growth is over, and that will also affect our industry, because in order to reach carbon footprint measurements, what do the big airlines do? So you may have all realized that before you want to go from Munich to Dresden, and there were 5 flights, okay? But now it's only 2. You know, how does that work? Is they need to save 20% in their carbon footprint, all right? So what they do, they bring the prices up and fly less, you know? That's very simple. And this is what we're going to see in the next years. And I think you really feel the impact if you look 6 years forward. We will see more products like Six Senses, where people being able to afford this have this new understanding of luxury. And these products going to be created, you know, so farm to table these products is a growing market. But if you look at the market as such, you know, we're gonna have luxury, and we're gonna have budget, and a lot of stuff in the middle is not gonna be there anymore, you know, because I think these products, mid-market, it's going to be less interesting to invest. There are going to be less people using it. Of course, we have to see different parts of the world are in different stages of development, like Punit mentioned very well, so we have to take that in consideration. But this is what is going to happen. The lifestyle we enjoy, will cost more money, which is maybe good, because then we like beef, you know, everybody of us has Wagyu beef on its menu, so besides maybe you. But so the fact is, so these cows are fed with maize, you know, Americans love it because they produce it, you know, it is the worst thing which happens to the environment. When the guys get slaughtered, they were flying around the world, you know, these dead cows. This is nonsense, and that has to stop, and it will stop, you know. And I think that is what is going to be changed and like you said, you know, it's going to be more localized, which is good, you know, because we have seen with the war, with the pandemic, that all those chains, those delivery chains, they break apart. You know, you have to find, so we're going to go back into what is in front of our door. What can we buy? Can we make that more quality, you know? And if I'm in the Toscana, why would I fly wines from California, you know, or from South Africa for that matter?
Which is also part of the general trends anyway for many years.
And that is exactly what you mentioned, which is right, you know, and this will stop, you know, so that will, I think that is going to change. I don't know how much it's going to changing in up till 2030, but you know, if we remember this discussion and we look to it, I think it's going to be a bigger change than we maybe have anticipated. You know, you got it back?
Yeah, I got it back. Thank you. And you know, it's perhaps because you mentioned oil, and it was another bit of depressing factor. I don't want to end on that note, but I read about the OPEC oil production per day, and you know, you might find that interesting or not, but it says that, you know, they're cutting the oil production by 1 million barrels a day, and so I asked myself, okay, how much barrels are produced every day? So I googled it on my way here.
102.
On the
102 of 102 million.
Yeah. So it's about 100 million barrel of oil which are produced every single day.
That's what I mean.
Which, you know, can be a bit of a depressing, you know, number, I guess. But why do I find it interesting? You know, we sit here on a panel, and I'm sure on the same day, and you know, there will be 100 other panels like this today of 100 different industries, and it's all the same. You know, the overall number is just mind-blowing and scary. But you know, there's no panel where after 1 hour we say, okay, we fixed it, like we got it down to 50. I mean, you know, we do our bit and then others do their bit, and I mean, this is so big that I guess people had just understood by now that it will not continue like this. And yeah, COVID helped in that, and so I mean, let's do what we can do. I guess this year, by the way, is a very good example. You mentioned, you know, the hotel. Bachmeier-Weissach, you know, you see, when we came here, you saw the biogas machine. So, you know, we all try what we can do.
Before we have the audience ask a few questions, or can ask, I want to ask you, we haven't spoken about real luxury experiences that, of course, we all offer. So I'd love to hear you, or your personal opinions maybe, on your, just in very brief, what has been your absolute favorite personal luxury experience that you might have had when traveling? Might it have something?
My last Wagyu burger at the Belmont was fantastic. Oh no, I'm kidding.
I was in Paris last week. I mean, this is like now, right? And stayed at the Intercontinental Le Grand in Paris, which is right next door to the Opera. And they said to me, do you want to go over to and have a look at the opera and have a little tour of opera, which I probably haven't done since I was 15 years old. And they took me across the street, and we ended up doing back of house tour of the opera, where we actually went into the dungeons and the basements. We were an hour before a performance, so there were people in hair and makeup. There was activity in all the changing rooms. They have a lake in the bottom of the opera, and there's fish in there. There's a guy with a fishing rod, and you know, I came out of that. I thought that was a great experience that very few people will ever do. And I thought, wow, that was really luxury.
Exclusive access.
And memorable forever, right?
Christian or Praneeth?
I have to disappoint you. I'm very simple like that. I think I have to. Take a hedge on my answer, because for me, being home, my parents' home with my family. Sorry, lighting the fireplace, glass of red wine. That's for me as good as it gets. So I don't know if you can still do fireplace. Probably not. No, you have to also no. Well, still, I like a good old kamin.
Praneeth.
Actually, that could have been my answer, but I really had a wonderful experience this month. On the 4th of November, we celebrated 50 years of Rambagh Palace in Jaipur, which incidentally this year is the TripAdvisor #1 hotel of the world.
Oh, squeeze that in.
And the palace was lit up. We had a lovely fashion show with all these models walking up the ramp from 5 different designers, followed by Shillong Chamber Choir. That's a city in the northeast. They do a very good job. And to be surrounded by all possible royalties, because the palace belongs to a real Maharaja who had all the relatives invited there. And I was privileged that as a CEO of the company, I could be with them and make speeches, and could be that experience is very different. It's very difficult to describe, but it was something very unique, very special. Of course, the food and the buffet. On such occasions, we believe in the holy cow, so there is no beef. So we're safe from that. But it was very special.
So you're ahead of the game on that one.
We are ahead of the game on that one. So that's really, really something very unique, and you cannot pay for it either.
Do you have a luxury experience you want to share?
It's a difficult question. Well, it's nice to hear that the examples given here is that luxury changed from material to experience. And that is very clear. That's also what I see by our guests. It's more about the experience to memorandum moments, etc. So if I look at myself, time is of course something that is precious, and you are so running around in planes most of the time, unfortunately, and spending time home. It's a little bit boring answer, but spending time with my wife and with friends is luxury for me. And then having a cigar with it is even more luxury.
Timo and Martin, who wants to go first?
I have 2 small kids at home, so traveling, of course I travel to our own hotels, which is luxury, but I don't spare you, with details about me enjoying the luxury of Oetker Collection hotels. And when I travel with my family, then, it's more about convenience rather than about luxury, to be honest. So I would go with Christian and say, time at home. I had my 2-year-old yesterday for the first time saying, "Daddy, won't you play with me?" Which makes, probably for me until the rest of the year makes me happy. So I'm in a good place like this.
Martin.
Well, I think for people traveling a lot, as these gentlemen do, of course, time becomes a luxury. In particular, if you spend time with friends and family, that's a luxury. And so it's. I'm back to what Niall said. Is also what do you define as luxury? Is it is it something you consume, or it's shifting to experience naturally. So I give you 2 examples which maybe fits both sides. We had in one of our hotels just 2 days ago, we had the pleasure to host Carsten and some high caliber colleagues for a dinner, and I opened some wine from my private cellar, well, we were not flying them all around the world. We just humbly smuggled them from Bavaria to Switzerland in the car, because if they would have caught us, the tax bill would have been massive. But in any case, so that was a wonderful meal with great discussions. And a lot of learning from views from other people, and have these wonderful wines, these old Bordeaux, you know, Chateau d'Yquem that's for me, and afterwards a nice cigar. This is luxury, of course. And on the other side, on the experience side, we have 4 kids as well, 3 boys, one daughter. And my wife decided to buy a dog, you know. And we are the least family on that planet. We should have a dog, you know, because nobody ever home. And now, whenever I'm there, you know, of course, she forces me to the duty to walk the dog. And the dog is unfortunately even, I mean, I'm an early bird, but he is even earlier, you know. So at 5 o'clock, I walk that dog, and we have a hotel which we spend a lot of time these days, which is really on the countryside, and that is a luxury experience. So when I'm walking in the morning with that dog, you know, just the sun comes up, it's great fresh air, and that guy is running around, and he's so happy, you know, because he's running around, you know, and you forget everything, and in the end, that is a nice experience too, you know.
Yeah. I think it's those rare moments which are, though, often connected to nature and to those experiences that you have with your loved ones, of course.
And isn't it interesting how we all have kind of fancy hotels, and yet 3 or 4 of the panel have described something which is very simple, very natural, and less is more.
And very sustainable.
And
I'm going to stop you. I know, Christian, you need to go, but I'm going to, so goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
We had a show in Germany called Wetten, dass, and you will, of course, know this in Wetten, dass. Some of the very famous guests, you know, only flew in, like Michael Jackson. He had one appearance, remember?
But he leaves to the family, as he told us, so he's at least consistent with his message, right?
Now, dear audience, we hope that you, or I hope that you might have some possibly challenging questions for our panel. We have a lovely lady here going around with a microphone, and I hope that we will have the first question somewhere. Come on, give yourself a nudge. Ah, there, I see someone. Reinhard, I think it is.
Good eyes.
Yeah.
We heard a lot about your statements from the company side, from the hotel side. Let me turn the question the other way around. You are hiding the extra costs being sustainable in your room rates. If you wouldn't do that, if you would split them up and say you have the chance to pay a lower rate without supporting us, as the airlines do, they have to split it up to equalize carbon footprint. How would the reaction on your guest side probably be?
Is this to anyone specific or generally? Who wants to answer the question?
I can go and say this. We are actually doing it. We issue extra loyalty points if people don't ask for change in sheets and laundered towels. We launched a campaign which worked quite well. It's called Care at Tajness. That means when you're on a holiday and you want to spend another 3 hours volunteering to work and do some community service, whether it's cleaning the forest or teaching children, or helping do whatever that area in that community needs. We have those kind of initiatives too. And finally, as I said, this is not like a one-size-fits-all. What works there will not maybe work in the US, in our own hotels too, whether it's US or London. So some of the initiatives that we do are on a national front, and they are very India-specific, and many are international. But on the India front, it has worked very well for us in all these things that you mentioned, but even more, because you can check that on our web too, Care at Tajness, that you take some hours of your time with your family, including with your kids, to do some kind of community service.
I think that in our case, and you know as well, right, that we include, a whole list of activities and engagement, whether it's with the sustainability people or the wellness people or whatever, that we don't charge anything for this kind of extracurricular engagement, whether it's sessions at our alchemy bar where we're creating products, or time in our Earth Lab for lectures and so on. So I think in our case, the guest is coming because of the sustainability. The price is the price, but we feel that there is a lot of added value that gets put into the stay and the experiences around wellness and sustainability. So we don't see the need to go backwards on rate. It's about creating value for what we are charging.
Anyone else? Any other questions? We have so many journalists in the room.
So we have covered it all, it seems. Huh?
Sure. It seems. Well, if there are no other questions, I do hope that we manage it. This is a big topic, by the way. I think we've all established that. There's not one silver bullet, but also, to the point, if we, I remember 2015, exactly with Frank, when at least that journey started, and of course some companies have it in their DNA from the word go. But if we look back, we've also come quite a certain way. We've peeled a certain level of the onion. There are many more levels to be peeled. Some are a bit more ahead, some behind. But I think for those that are a bit behind, I think they have to put their running shoes on. Because I think how we've established the future from the future guest also will demand certain ESGs and corporate social responsibility, and also, of course, eco-friendly and sustainable measures. And I think, as many have pointed out, that this is also positive on revenue and on investors, and that they actually benefit that. So I hope it's been an interesting discussion for everyone. I certainly had fun and thought it was great and wonderful to be with all of you on this panel. And thank you to everyone. And I think the next step of the program, you will know better than I, but I think we move on to drinks. And
it's always drinks.
It's always drinks. In doubt, a drink. So thank you so much.
Carina, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks. It was great.